You're listening to the Midwest Coven Cast. I'm Suzie.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Marilyn.
We're three modern pagans stumbling through life and honoring our craft.
Join us in conversations about, well,
just about everything.
And we hope that you enjoy this week's episode.
Welcome back, Coven.
Hey, Coven.
Welcome back.
So, I'm really excited about today because we don't do many specifically witchy episodes. We have always been open about what we are, or as we've been exploring,
we're
what
normal
people.
90% of the time.
Yeah. So we talk about a lot of non-witchy things here, which I think is totally legit because a witch is part of who we are, or at least for me, or whatever the two of you identify as. But it's not our whole being. But sometimes I want to talk about it though too.
I think most people that identify as witch would definitely feel the same way because it's just a part of you. It's not who you are and what you are. That's all you do.
I feel there's sort of expectation, particularly
it's like a Christian.
Everything that we should be magic.
It's always be so witchy, and I'm
Every
just
episode
no.
needs to be about witch
Not
stuff.
the whole of me. Thank you.
I wish I was pure magic all the damn time.
Fuck, yeah, right? Who doesn't? But we wanted to fit some stuff in because there are things that we all love about the craft. And so we thought we'd talk a little bit about...
These are a few of my favorite things.
Witchy things. So we wanted to talk a little bit about some of our favorite tools of the trade and things like that today.
Well, I can tell you guys that I just took up a new hobby. Nothing to do with Silk and Sonder. On that self bingo, there's the thing that says take up a new hobby. And honestly,
I haven't done that one yet. So.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And then I was doing my thing yesterday. So I had ordered in the mail a rock tumbler. So a long time ago, I went to a thrift store and I got a rock tumbler for $5 because I've always wanted to tumble rocks my whole life, but I've just never done it. So I was like, you know what? You're 30 years old. Damn it, get you a rock tumbler. It's only $5. It's a little kid one. What's the worst that could happen? See what you do, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyways, I had this thing tumbling for a good month. And I didn't have the full kit when I bought it. It only had, I think, steps... It had all the rocks already in there, so I think step 1 was in there, and then it had 2 other bags, so I think I had steps 2 and steps 3. Mm-hmm. So I've completed all of those. I took them out the other day, and then I looked at them, and they were shiny, polished shiny.
Oh, yeah. So you're probably missing a step or something.
I think I'm missing a step, right? So that's why I was like, well, darn it, let me go online and just check it out, because I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed what happened up until that point, but I just knew they just needed to be finished. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy a new set, a new tumbler, so that way I can finish these rocks and have more to go.
I'm glad that you enjoyed the process because Dylan has a rock tumbler and we tried tumbling rocks and we didn't make it. We made it through the first and the second stage because it was the 1 week cycle and then the 2 or 3 week cycle. And then the next cycle is 5 weeks or something. And we haven't done it because...
Ooh,
lost inspiration, right?
Speaking of crystals, Sam just whipped out some beauties.
Oh, no.
I don't know if I've seen these. What are these?
So these are actually this is my favorite one that I talked about before.
Okay.
This is my big smoky quartz palm stone.
Oh, okay. I've heard you talk about this, but I don't know if I've personally ever seen it or not, or maybe if you had it over here
I
just
saw
to
it at
notice,
your house
maybe?
one time. You showed it to me. And
that one is... It's not my first crystal, but it's my first significant one that I was this one is
this is so me.
I bring it with me whenever I need to be grounded, or it's my grounding crystal.
And it does. It feels so nice in your hand. The heft of it, just the shape of it, the feel of it.
It fits my palm really nice, and so when I'm anxious, I sit there and I just hold it between my hands. And
I even like the little flex that it has. It's really pretty.
Yes, it's got
I love it.
some crystallization.
Having you two around, I can definitely appreciate crystals much more than I used to. Not to say that I wasn't interested at all, or that I didn't read about them, or whatever, but I didn't really collect them as much. I've always had a couple of rocks around. I have this really pretty purple one that I don't have out right now, but I've had it for a while, way before we started.
I've seen that one, I think.
Yeah, again, I was witchy. Of course, I had at least a couple crystals around.
Well, plus, I was collecting rocks all the time around you, too. So I'm sure, within a few times, you've seen a few here and there that were kind of
I've always had a few around that I felt, a little compelled to. But, so...
You know, honestly, I have to interject really quick. So I feel like what was so fascinating to me recently about crystals, because, you know, growing up, I always was fascinated just by the look of them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the feel of it, if it's really, like, you know, it feels hefty or if it feels really smooth or whatever. Even, like, the raw ones I really like. Well, recently what I find really awesome is the fact that, number one, they use these things, like quartz and stuff, in, like, so much technology that we use nowadays. I want to say it's used in, like, computers and
Watches
in, like...
and medical devices.
Yeah, like, there's really good things that we take for granted from some of these things that it's like, oh, wow, these things actually have potential, or, like, really powerful potential, you know? And then the other thing that I also found fascinating is that we have crystals in our brains. I think they're called... Oh, God, hold on. I have to remember. I think they're called magnetite crystals, if I'm not mistaken.
Magnetite?
Magnetite?
I don't know if I've
I have
ever
to
heard
look
of
it
that.
up.
Let me look it up, yes.
Let's I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, like,
so
it's interesting shit,
did
man.
you learn this when you were watching Gaia? Was this on
Brain
that?
stuff. I think it was Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking about it, honestly. He was talking about how, like, we have crystals within our brains that if they're activated properly, that it's like your system creates different chemicals and your body has different reactions to these chemicals. And yeah, let me look it up.
Okay, so I just Googled crystals in the human brain.
Yes, there you
and the
go.
first thing that came up was from the New York Times, and it says most regions of the brain have 5 million magnetite crystals per gram of tissue. The thought membrane that covers the brain has 100 million crystals per gram. Each human brain on average contains several billion particles of magnetite, weighing a total of 1/1,000,000th of an ounce. So I
wonder if that's why.
I don't know what magnetite is or any of its properties, but it sounds like it was discovered around 1992. It was cited a whole bunch of times by a bunch of people, so...
I actually have a crystal book that you gave me, and it talks about magnetite, and it says that...
This is a very long rabbit hole.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
But it says magnetite is a magnetic and has a powerful positive-negative polarity. It can be used as magnetic therapy, working with the body's own biomagnetic field and meridians, and with that of the planet in the earth healing. It acts as a grounding stone when used as an experienced healer.
It looks like an academic article called Crystals of the Brain, but I don't know if it's literal crystals or not. I'd have to actually, like, read it.
Yeah.
I'm bookmarking it for later. We will have to come back to this.
Yeah, maybe
sorry,
we'll have...
guys.
Well, maybe we'll dive into this topic and have a whole episode about it or something.
episode.
Yeah.
We'll do something to give you guys more information about this, because obviously
I'm
I don't
curious
know
now.
much about
I'm super
it.
curious, yes.
It was super fascinating. Like, he was talking about how, like, yeah, once these crystals become activated, you can actually have access to your pineal gland, and your pineal gland is what people actually activate when they're going on these wild acid trips, and they're, like, activating DMT and stuff, and I think that that's what they're talking about. Like, our pineal gland excretes DMT when it is properly, what's the word, triggered.
Yeah.
And there's certain plants and there's certain substances that trigger it, and what it does is it releases the DMT, and apparently if we are capable of, I think they even said using your own breath, you're capable of doing this DMT release of a sort. Not of the same probably exaggeration as the substances can do, but you can control it more is what he's saying.
Did you watch the full episode about this? Do you know if they talked about EMFs at all?
I didn't know.
Because EMFs are, like, put off by, like, radio waves, and they're electromagnetic fields. So, cell phone towers put them off, and, like, microwaves put them off, and, like, just basically any electronic device. Like, your TV puts it off, your cell phone puts it off. And so I wonder if, like, that's the part that it fucks with, is the already, like, magnetized parts of your brain, and then those electromagnetic waves are going through you, and that's...
Well, you know what's really fucked up is that... So, two things that are really fucked up is that, number one, they were talking about this whole 5G network, and how, 5G is what's causing COVID or something, right? Wasn't that, like, some conspiracy
it was some
theory?
Conspiracy theory,
that the 5G network was doing something? And I'm thinking to myself, like... Maybe those motherfuckers were onto something. Maybe it's not doing what they said it was doing. Maybe it's doing something, though. And the other thing that I was thinking was...
Have you guys... big of a conspiracy, but...
No, I know. I mean,
I don't think
it's just like
I don't
tangent
think
that my mind, in the back of my mind, thinks like,
Yeah.
It makes me go, But then, the other thing that I'm questioning, or not questioning, but the other thing that brings up in my mind is, do you guys remember that movie Wonder Woman, and how the guy was talking about a stone, like a wishing stone, And basically he wanted to become the wishing stone, but like you had to be touching the wishing stone in order for your like stuff to come true. And like anyway, oh god,
I'm not a movie.
I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I remember the movie, but not in that detail.
Basically, what the storyline, what the concept was that there was this like stone that was like magical, and anybody that was like in possession of the stone and holding the stone, they could basically like, with their own intentions, ask for whatever they wanted, but in return, they were paying for it with, I think it was either their soul or. There was a payment for whatever.
Yeah.
Well, basically, the guy, the villain in the story, ends up taking that stone and saying he wants to be that stone. So then he starts going up to people and like holding their hand and saying, "What is it that your heart deepest desires?" And like they would say, "Oh, I want all this power," or "Oh, I want all this money," or "Oh, I want all of these greedy things," you know.
Yeah.
And it eventually like he started becoming like more powerful. And, like, then he found out about, like, some satellite network that was literally able to, like, touch everything. And there was all the... So he wanted to touch the satellite. So that way he was the stone and was, like, touching everything. And then, I don't know. Anyways, it was weird shit. But anyways, my mind is going off on a huge tangent. Now we're probably going to cut all that out anyway.
I was like, man, this episode is going down a lot of rabbit holes.
Sorry, guys. My mind is really fucked up.
Oh, man. What time
I see
is
these
it?
movies. Yeah, I see these
You
movies.
need more coffee, Susie, today?
I don't, but I'm not drinking anyway.
So you're really into movies in which the symbols are powerful crystals?
Well, so, yeah, long story short,
You like crystals in all shapes, forms, and...
Well, it's just odd to me sometimes the way that my mind will connect things that happen in, like, a story or, like, in a movie on a storyline base. And I kind of, like, can connect it to other things that are, like, happening elsewhere. And I'm like, you know, it's not quite different than that.
Well,
This is what they're doing.
Well, I think making those connections, like, it's... I think trying to connect with more people, like if more people know this story and it's the same as what you're already trying to tell, then maybe they'll understand it because it's like a similar, you know, a common viewpoint.
Actually, this is a good transition because I think one of the good tools of the trade are books. And you were just talking about
movies,
yeah.
all media, you know.
I totally would agree.
I don't know. I think it's important to continue to learn, and I think that media allows us like sort of ways to connect to each other. But you're talking about stories, and I was thinking like books and like communicate. You know, like
I need to get better at
information.
Books.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people that like I didn't grow up being read to that much, and then so I just relate books to school because like everything that I learned from books, or every time I had to read a book, it was for school and just for that purpose. So like I know that I should like want to learn things on my own nature and learn, but I use my internet phone for that. Like I don't read a book. I look at the internet and find different sites to.
It's
I don't know.
Terrible. I don't think to do that. I mean, I think that it's better than not seeking out any of the information at all. But I do think that like. I think Marilyn probably, when you read details and read books, that you do get probably a lot more from a book than you get from the other. But I like.
Well, I'm trying to go to books now, especially homeschooling now, because like I don't let Dylan have electronics, and he doesn't have a phone, and I don't let him on my computer. So like, sometimes we go and watch like National Geographic and stuff to learn things, but for the most part, I buy books for him. So I am trying to get better at reading books myself and learning that way because I am forcing him to learn that way. Right, I need to set the example.
Yes. Yeah. He'll pick up on it more if he sees you doing it anyways. That's one of the things that I've noticed, like, with Kelly is, like, if I'm doing something, she's doing it. Like, she's going to pick up on all of my little tendencies and all of my little things, and the good ones and the bad ones.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like, just documenting, like, your research and stuff, too, because, like, I think a lot of this is just learning and kind of seeing what other people have experienced with it and like whatever. So it creates like a connection to other practitioners and things like that. But also like I think it's important to be able to sort of refer back to what you've learned before and then figure out ways to pass on that knowledge to others. I've been actually thinking about doing a series on TikTok about how to create an electronic book of shadows. So, like, okay, here's my thing. Like, I love my notebooks and stuff like that, but I have them, like, everywhere, because it's like, I'm just a hot mess of a human in a lot of, organizational ways. And so
I don't even know how I pass school half the time, because I scratch notes down just on whatever paper is nearby me for assignments. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I did that assignment in this, and it's written on this napkin here. See?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I do like weird shit like that. Because like sometimes it's like the napkin is what's there, and when you have the thought, you need to get it out because otherwise it's gone.
I kid you not, you guys. I literally just got done with having a stack of just like little napkins, Post-it notes, little scrap papers. Because when I'm at work and I'm listening to podcasts, I'll just grab whatever paper I got and scratch it down, and I'll bring it home in my thing, and then I'll just pile all the notes. I just took all those and put it into one document that's called Random Ideas, and then I threw all that fucking paper away. I was like so relieved to finally do that. Like,
well, and that's what I'm thinking, because I have like little bits of stuff, and I still have like notebooks I'm sure I do at Mom's house that have like stuff from back in the day in them. And so I'm like, I just want to compile like an electronic book of shadows that I can keep in the cloud for now. Like, I can print pages if and when I feel necessary, like whatever. But like, I feel like this is like, I know how to do it, and I could teach people how to do it.
Well, girl, honestly, that was the only reason why I did what I did, was because of what you showed me the other day about how you can break your shit down and organize it into, like, the table of contents and stuff.
I never knew that you could make a document in Word with a table of contents before.
Yes, 100%.
I've never been taught that.
Marilyn needs to make a YouTube video on how to use Word. Like, how to, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that have this knowledge that is, they find it so second nature, and then when they finally show somebody like me, I'm like, what?
I've never even seen that before.
Yeah, like,
there's like a lot of things that you can do with it. Like, and I mean,
what you didn't know about Word.
Yeah, there's a lot of functionality, and like for me, I like it because it's like a living document, and I feel like when you have like a grimoire or book of shadows or something like that, it usually is a living document. You're like, you keep putting stuff into it, you write little like notes in the margins of things that you've already written before, and like, like
but if it's physical, it gets lost in the many other ones that are there. And then you have
your
to
electronic documents can get lost too, but
then you have to physically look for it sometimes, and it's hard to know exactly where you put it. Whereas if it's in a document, it was around this time of the year, I think I was writing about this stuff, you can kind of remember a little bit more. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess you can still physically go back and do that too, but I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably keep my notes and whatever, but like, I feel like the other thing about this is, like, if I create the document the way that I want, like, I have my table of contents, and I can switch things around. It's not, like, permanently where it needs to be. So if I find, like, another herb that comes alphabetically before something else I already have, then I can just, like, fit it in there and, like, just update the table. And it's...
See, that's what I like about digital things. Yes. Because, like, I'm someone who I do like writing things down and keeping, like, an action, like, by hand, because then I can, like... I don't know.
There's something that's not tangible.
I remember better writing it than I do typing it. I'm someone that I have to physically write it down, and then my brain registers it, and it's like,
I think they say that, like, when you have that physical...
I'm a bit of both.
Yeah.
Memory, too.
Pen to paper. I'm a pen to paper learner or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I just recently...
I can relate to that.
I just recently saw this guy that was talking about doing, like... Because I've always wanted to do dream boards, right? And I was just talking about doing dream boards. Well, then this thing popped up on my feed the other day on YouTube about doing a digital dream board, because it's not in the 2000s, or the 2020s. They're in the 2000s. In the 2020s, like, time to update these dream boards. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good point, because then you can just keep it constantly updated without having to have a whole entire freaking board on your thing. Because I don't know, to me, I don't really go and seek out a magazine and cut out a picture, and you know what I mean? It's just not a natural thing for me to do. But to go online and to, like, just look up something that looks pretty and find a few things that look like what I want or what I need, that's a lot easier. But anyways, I just thought it was kind of one of those fun things to bring to the document side versus the physical side.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, though, that if something like that was, like, digital to me, though, my curiosity is would I go back to look at it? Unless I wanted to add something to it. But how often would I add something to it is my question too. Because, like, if I'm not going to see it often and put stuff on it and or take things off of it or whatever often, I feel like I would forget about it personally.
I could get that. Like, there's some things on mine that because I've noticed on mine, I don't have live single documents, but I have live, like, folders, and I have a whole bunch of documents in. So I noticed that I tend to pull those up more frequently than anything, and I will go back into my thing and say, open this. Mm-hmm. So, like you say, add things to it, or to reread things.
Then again, like, if you were, like, strategic about it, because, like, you could put it, like, as the background of your computer.
Yes.
Or, like, your wallpaper of your phone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's what
so
they
that
actually...
you, like, see it.
That's what they tell you to do once you make your dream board, is to make it your background on your computer. So every time you open it up, that's the first thing you see.
That tracks better with me. Yeah, I would like, because I could see that maybe, like how that.
And then you can switch it out, like depending on the one that you want to focus on, like because they all honestly, what I'm going to do is a dream book is what they call it. He had like so you can break down all the different areas that you want on your dream board and make their own little
You can make a document like what I was just telling you about. Have different sections of your life.
That's
like,
literally what I have in my computer right now. I'm like, this is gonna be for my lifestyle. This is
I think it's just like
my family. This is gonna be for my health.
I think this just seals the deal. I need to make this series because I mean, even if you're not using it for a book of shadows, you could use it for like just to write a book or like to keep
just
notes
to organize
or to organize
thoughts.
pieces of your life. Yeah, so maybe I'll teach people.
It helped me series. Just with the like little bit that you showed me the other day. I've already adapted it to a few things, like my random pile of notes that I had in my backpack. Or I had so many book ideas that I finally got just concise into one thing. So it's like it makes me feel a little bit more like I can go for it, you know. It's not such a conjumbled thing that I have to organize first and then go for it, you know what I mean? Right. And that's one of the things I noticed too, like, so the other day I was sewing and I noticed, like Sam was talking about for creative space and like having the space. I'm so set on having this fucking garage sale, decluttering my house and setting my space up because the other day when I was making these, I had to go and get the one thing, and then I had to go get another thing, and I had forgotten another thing, and I had to open and close the door so many times, and she was trying to sleep, and I only had so much time for her to be asleep still, and I didn't want to wake her up, so it was like I had to, you know, it was
doing stuff as a mom is such a...
It's hard, I have a feeling.
Like, I had to tiptoe in and out of that room so many times, and then by the time I thought I was done and I got everything, then I moved on to the next step, then I forgot something else that I had to go out and get, and it was just like, good God, I need a room, I need space to just be set up, ready to go for me, that I can do my thing and leave it be when I'm done doing my thing, so I don't have to bring everything back out again. Anyways, sorry, that was a tangent. I didn't.
You just need to come here for a few hours. I'll play with her downstairs. You need to have everything here.
You know, honestly, I'll just be like, girl, I need to come over and sew some stuff. You could have watched her.
But yeah, well, and I think creation is like a big part of my craft too. I've been trying to figure out how to like. Well, I think it comes down to my kitchen butchery, too, because I like to try and figure out what I can do with what I have, sort of, and how I can always make things better. Oh, and my book thing is coming in handy with that, too, because I'm going to make an index where I can cross-reference things, too.
See, I'm bad about that. So anybody that got our second newsletter, sorry, I did the history part and I didn't really reference things as correctly as I should have. Marilyn did show me how to, so in the future ones I should be better at it. But
where she got the information is linked. It's just not like...
It's not properly formatted in the document correctly as to where each piece of the information
came from. There are like bloggers who do it the way you did it or whatever. We're just trying to be more precise.
Okay, well then maybe that's why I did it the way I did it, because I'm not used to it being, I guess, I'm used to just reading like one thing and then it all being referenced in one spot at the end or at the bottom.
I just feel like for us it's going to be like so much more useful if we know like where we got pieces of information in the future, because we're probably going to have to do research.
I totally get what you're saying and why. Like I just didn't ever see it that way before because I didn't know. So
it's the teacher in me.
So I knew that automatically already when I was hearing the lesson from you. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. But
the citation, Suzie, the citation.
I know, right? Like,
I mean, your instinct was there. You did cite it technically down at the bottom of your thing. You know
and that's all I thought I had to do. So I just, like I said, it'll be different in the future. But this one going into it, it's a little bit different, I guess, for the second one. But,
it's totally fine.
So I'm going to go back to talking about my crystals.
She's not like glaring, not glaring. But she's like,
do it. She has like her little grin going on.
Oh my God, this one's so pretty.
I always have like multiple little bags in my backpack, so I took all my little bags out and put my grid together.
The world is active today, guys. I wonder, there's like a lot more going. Plane just flew over us.
I keep stirring my coffee every now and then.
I keep sipping on it.
I'm going to.
I made you guys
opportunity.
some iced coffees with a simple syrup today. Sorry, Sam. But anyways, your crystals
yeah.
are beautiful.
So like, so talking about our favorite things, I already mentioned like my smoky one. This one's my like, main one, but like smoky quartz in general is obviously one of my favorites because I have like my heart pieces and my tumbled and my points, and I have non-tumbled one. Well, no, I don't have any non-tumbled anymore because I gave them all away in my witch kits, our witch kits.
Yeah.
So hopefully the winners got all of theirs by now. I know like a lot of them did because we got posts about them, which is super exciting.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing those unboxings. That was so awesome.
Anyways,
We're gonna have to do another one soon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Everybody who didn't
maybe at the end of the season
get to participate this time. Yeah, maybe we'll do an end of season
giveaway every season. Ooh, I love that
different
idea.
type of thing. But yeah.
We'll have to reamp our crystals. We're actually, Sam was talking about
planning a trip to buy more crystals.
We'll let you guys know how that goes.
But yeah, so on top of like my smoky quartz ones, I always pretty much gravitate towards green aventurine. Like I have multiple pieces of that, and every time I go to buy crystals, like I'm tempted to buy more, but I try and push myself to like buy other things because I'm like, you have so many of these. Why are you buying this again? And same with like rose quartz. I'm always just, even when I don't intend to buy rose quartz, it's like, oh, look, I bought this new piece today. Oops.
Like, what's so funny is like, so when I was tumbling those rocks, I got some pieces of the green aventurine, and I like them, but they're like, they were the bigger pieces that I got, you know, and I was kind of like, darn it, like, because I really like amethyst and I really like rose quartz, so I was kind of looking forward to getting some bigger chunks of those, but I got bigger chunks of the green, is it tourmaline, or what was it? Green aventurine.
Well, this is green aventurine. I'd have to see yours to see if...
So there is green tourmaline, too.
Yes, and there's also green calcite and green... There's other greens.
Okay, well, then maybe I'll have you look at it, because it looked very similar to what it looks like over there, but I don't know if it was or not. But, yeah, yep. It almost looked, I think, just like that. But yeah, so basically... I was disappointed, though, because I didn't necessarily care for those ones quite as much, and I really wanted, more of, like, the amethyst or more of the rose quartz, but you know what one I really liked was that moldavite that you just gave me. That little piece. I don't know why, but I'd never known anything about that before until Marilyn had gotten some, and then you said it was more like a Superman kryptonite, right?
No, I said that.
Oh, you said Superman kryptonite. Okay, so
kryptonite was kind of, like, based on
because it was
moldavite.
Right, because it was like from a comet that landed on Earth, and now there's only so much of it that's available from that comet or from that meteor
it's like
strike,
from
right?
the impact or something like that.
Okay, that's what I thought. I found that to be awesome and fascinating. I don't know why. So that when you gave that piece to me, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool! Like it's, I don't know, of another world almost. But anyways, and then there was another one that the one that Dylan liked. It was like really shiny. I like those ones. They look almost like a raw rock that just has like a metallic shine to it. And some of them have like little flecks of real shiny stuff on the outside too. Oh my god.
Like geodes or?
No, not kyanite. Hold on.
Pyrite?
No, it's not pyrite. It's like a azurite is one of them. It looks kind of like this. I've got a piece of azurite. That's one of them that I like. But there's another one that was even way more sparkly than that. And I can't remember. It's in there, too. I actually did find it. It was the one that you liked, Marilyn. Because you and Dylan both were kind of like, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see.
Is it this?
No. Here, I'll show it to you. It's this one right here.
Oh, yeah. It's got kind of a green sheen to it.
This is the one that I think I have. That was the one that I showed you.
Oh, that's this one.
No, that's the other. I think this is look more like azurite.
That's this.
Oh, is it the same thing as what is that one called?
I'm pretty here. Let me look up.
Maybe they're two different. Like Crystolia, it looked blue on there, but maybe that's like a tumbled version of it or something. But this one in the raw.
Peacock ore is what the like I don't know the street name. I don't know if that's appropriate, but like but I'm trying to find out what the.
To me, this looks like As You're Right.
No, it's not this one either. It's
according to the picture in that book, anyhow. And that's all that I have to go off
It's
of.
almost like a green and silvery. I don't know. It's like, but
it's
it's really shiny.
calcopyrite. So that's a form of pyrite, but it's like I'm probably
This
pronouncing it. But this is what that is.
Yeah, that does
It's
look
this
like
one.
that. Okay.
But
Which
it's
is like peacock ore.
Yeah,
what you're
peacock
saying.
ore is what like they call it, but right there is like the official name, the chalcopyrite. Calcopyrite? I don't know.
Calcopyrite, I think is how it would be pronounced. Calcopyrite. CHALCOPYRITE.
Yeah, I didn't see it in this one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But yeah, you guys have
A lot of crystal addiction.
Yes, we do. We have a crystal addiction.
okay.
What are some of your favorite things that you do though? Like, because you said
I mean, my herbs for sure. I mean,
Herbs.
I think I like herbs the way that you guys like crystals. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys have a few herbs here or there too, but I'm really excited because I'm actually going to be like growing some of my own. Well, I've already started them. If you watch my TikTok, you've probably seen.
Yeah. What have you started already? You said
All kinds of stuff. So I have like sweet marjoram, lime basil, sweet basil, rosemary. I started some mint, but they haven't come in, and so I think I need to restart them. So I need to experiment with those a little bit. Like lemon balm. I'm gonna start some catnip. I haven't actually started it yet. I keep telling you I'm going to, but I haven't yet.
Oh, that's all right.
And then broad sage, all kinds of stuff.
sorts.
All kinds of stuff. I think I have like 20 tubs over here.
that's awesome though, because I've mentioned before I can't grow a anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
so
again. I'm going to buy already growing stuff and see if I can keep that alive, which I've tried in the past and could not. But we're going to try it again.
I just think it's like almost so magical. Like you have these like teeny tiny seeds that are like nothing. Like some of them, like you barely see them, and they grow into this like big old plant. It's like amazing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm also fascinated with plants.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see like how nature can just do things just so easily and naturally.
That's why I love hiking. Like I like going out into nature and just being like these like trees are awesome. Like moss is my thing. I love going and like admiring the moss and like the mushrooms and the all the fungus, you know.
I think the other thing
I'm a weirdo.
But you like hunt for morels and stuff, right?
Yeah, I suck at it, but I remember just doing it with my dad all the time, and we don't really do much together anymore. So that's just something I remember. Like me and him used to always go mushroom hunting and go camping and stuff, and like I still do those things, but we don't do them together.
Aww. Life sucks when it gets, when we get older and things are suckier. But no, I do remember you and your dad always going out mushroom hunting. I've never been mushroom hunting before.
Yeah, like I still go, but I haven't been successful really. Like I find some every couple years, but
I don't know what
I don't really.
for.
Yeah, I don't know what to look for. I just wander around until I'm like, hey, look, I found some today.
Hopefully these are good. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Oh man.
But anyways, no, I do like being out in nature though, and I do find plants to be fascinating, but I also think that especially mushrooms, I've heard have super good healing capabilities and properties
Well,
in them.
some of them can kill you.
Well, yes, that's very true. But I'm just thinking, like, I've heard of just, all these different plants and all these different roots that have all these different capabilities for what they do to the human body and, like, the chemicals that they do. And I don't know. I find that very intriguing, and I want to learn more
mushrooms
about
are very
them.
powerful thing. Well, you can, like, use them for a lot of, like, meat replacements, too. So mushrooms are definitely, and there's other kinds of mushrooms that do other things to you that are fun. So mushrooms are generally good things. Some of them very dangerous,
Careful
but
with your research, but
you take that risk.
I remember as a kid, I used to hate mushrooms, like the taste of it. Like whenever you guys would use cream of mushroom, anything, I was just like, this is nasty.
I
But
don't love
it
cream of
now.
mushroom of it on its own. Like, I
But
usually
yeah, as a
mix it
flavor
with...
additive, though, it does add just that hint of it, and it's pretty good.
I like it in green bean casserole. That's what I use cream of mushroom for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we use it for chicken dumplings.
I usually mix
tuna
it like
noodles.
one-on-one with like a cream of chicken or something.
But so like hiking and forest bathing. I like going barefoot out in nature because that's
Feel one with the earth.
yeah.
Dude, I did that the other
Grounding.
day, and I hadn't done that in like years, and I felt weird at first, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm doing it, and it did. It felt cool to have the grass in your toes and feel the dirt underneath your feet, and like remember all those little sticks and twigs and whatever. Like it's what you did when you were a kid. You ran around with your freaking bare
the
feet.
kids love being barefoot, so I'd honestly rather them be barefoot than, I don't know.
You know what's really funny is, so I remember my very last day. So the movies was my very first job I got when I was 14. And I worked at the Dollar Theater, and then I worked at the Mall, which was a double-ended theater. Long story short, the day that I quit that job, I remember taking my shoes off, because I had to do all of the walks for all the theaters. I'd always do it. That was my job. I had to walk all the theaters and make sure that everything was all good, with my little flashlight with the glow stick on the end of it and whatever. Well, I remember every theater that I walked, I took my shoes off and I walked just with I had my socks on. It wasn't gross, but for some reason...
Those carbons were gross.
They were. But for some reason, and I don't even know why I felt that need to do that, but I did, and it did. It felt weird and cool to walk around with just my freaking socks on. Like, it was the weirdest
What a rebel.
thing.
She's
I don't know why.
I wore
but like,
no shoes.
I was like, I'm so done with this. I'm done with this place.
In every room. I did it in every room.
Like, I did. I don't know. I just felt like I'm done with this place. It's done with me, and I'm just gonna
leave my footprints here.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm gonna get my socks gross.
I'm gonna get this nasty oil all up in my socks, and then I'm
man.
gonna put my shoes back on, and now it's all up in my
Butter and
shoes
soda
too.
for days.
Oh man.
I gave no fucks though. I was like, I am doing it, and it felt good. Damn it.
And apologies to our listeners because
This has been a
my
tangent
lawn
of an
guy is again near our windows.
Fun.
We need to tell him he needs to not do that shit on Fridays. We record on Fridays. Don't come over on Friday. Damn it.
Great, now our fans are going to all come show up and paparazzi us on Fridays. Thanks, Suzie.
Yeah, right.
So we were talking about
Grounding.
outside, no
Yeah.
shoes.
Frolicking. I enjoy to frolic.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do when you frolic?
I don't know, just like play like a kid and like skip around and maybe roll in the grass a bit. And
You know, honestly, what's so funny that you say that is I have not frolicked in such a long time, but like as a kid, I can remember doing that. I can remember just like running around in the grass, rolling around in the grass, just laying in the grass, looking up at the clouds, doing cloud watching, and just, yeah, like simple
Enjoying the
stuff.
world a little bit.
Frolicking, yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know what that means anymore as an adult.
But yeah, that's like just outside barefoot. That's my thing, I guess. I like being barefoot
I
when
have
I
such
can.
sensitive feet, but when I'm in my house though, I'm almost always barefoot.
Yeah.
But like outside, I'm a little more iffy. Like I might go onto like my patio, maybe onto my like driveway, but even there might be pebbles, and that's just dangerous.
But see, that's why you gotta stick to grass and soft ground.
Well,
Yeah.
But then I know there's always
still
dangers of
always
pokey
something.
things.
There's lots of nature
Snakes.
going on in
Yeah.
there. There's ants and there's little bugs. Like, oh my gosh, the other day I was
no,
taking
the
out the
nature.
garbage and I took a pile of leaves that was kind of like built up behind the garbage cans out, and it was honestly kind of fascinating to me because there was so much life in those leaves. There was millipedes and centipedes and
I remember being a
bugs
kid and just
and
loving
spiders.
flipping over rocks and seeing the
all
stuff
the
under
life.
there.
Yeah, like on the not the Jungle Book, but on Lion King when he lifts up the thing and all those bugs are underneath the rock, like they start eating them. But it was like that. I was just like, and what's fascinating to me is if you think about, that was just that one little area. all of that life and all of that living organism stuff is going on underneath all that grass that you just see as grass.
It's all out there.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's in the trees, it's in the leaves, it's in all of the, it's in the birds, in the trees.
It's in your pillow at night.
It is. But it is kind of like fascinating to think about how much is really going on underneath of it all.
Yeah, that's what I like about like moss and stuff, because like when you like photograph moss really closely, like microscopic level, it's like its own little world. There's like little bugs living in it. It looks like little trees everywhere.
I've never seen it on that.
It's like the ant city.
And if you think about it, it's kind of like how we are now. We're probably just like that on some level.
Like
Just
there's all
something
kinds
else.
of different hairy mosses that all have their own different like, look going on, their own little
The
planets.
colors, the growths.
I'm just a weird moss lady. It's fine.
It's fine.
I like moss. I like the feel of it for some reason. I always remember that. Like,
I love little like terrariums and stuff like that have like moss and stuff in them.
yeah,
Like,
it does. It
pretty.
always has like a cool look. It'd be
Me-
cool to make a
we-
fairy
It's
garden.
mysticky. Kind
Me and Dylan made one for homeschool, and when we were learning about moss, actually. And of course, I killed it. It died, and then it got all moldy, and now it's a mold garden. We're still growing it. It's just a different thing
It's a
now.
different form of life now. But hey, you can grow something. I can grow mold.
As long as we don't open the lid, we keep the spores inside the terrarium, it should be fine. It's a different experiment. Now it's science. It was still science, but
See what you can grow.
You gotta roll with the punches. That's life, man.
take what they give ya.
Yep, life gave you lemons. You make lemonade.
Well,
Very
it gives
earthy.
you moss, so you can make a moss garden.
So
When it
speaking
turns
of
to mold, it's a mold garden. It's fine.
So speaking of earthy things, which is an element, it made me think of when we were filling this sheet out, Sam. You and I have like two different kind of. You resonate with like water, and I wrote like because I'm a kitchen witch and whatnot to the most degree. I think.
Yeah.
I like cauldrons and pans and working with fire magic. When and if I do it, I usually do like candle magic type things.
So
Which
Beltane's your day, man. I
Well-
want that fire.
on that fire. But it's funny because I like it in controlled environments, though. Like, I'm actually very afraid of fire because I have been
Yeah.
burned in the face.
Yeah, I can see
before.
that.
Yeah, we both had burns, so.
Yeah. So I'm. It's interesting that you kind of like led your path to like water, which is sort of like the resolving of that, and I'm like fire, but only when I'm in control and in a controlled environment.
Yeah, 'cause
that I can control.
Sometimes I'm even afraid just to light candles, like, because it's fire inside my house, I don't know.
I'm like really vigilant about it because of my past fire experience. But it's like weird. It's almost like a playing with fire thing for me, weirdly. Not that I would ever like burn down the house, don't get me wrong.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying like
That's for me to do, remember?
it makes me feel in control of it in like
yeah,
certain
it's-
circumstances sometimes. I don't know. It's
As
very
kids,
weird.
me and Susie used to play with fire in the basement. We would,
Yeah, we would light all sorts of weird shit on
take
fire.
a can of hairspray and
See, I never did
torch it.
that,
No,
so-
we should probably edit that out. Children might be listening.
Do you remember when we went to the movies? Eric, I remember one time Corey, Eric, and I think Ryan maybe were all like ushering,
Oh my God,
and
the movies
they
days.
had a spray bottle of some sort, and Eric was like walking down the hallway, and Corey was like, "Hey, Eric!" He holds up this bottle with his lighter, and he like sprays like a fire flame, like not to him, but like behind him where he was, like where he.
Jesus.
And Eric literally jumped out of his shoes. He was so fucking scared. He was like, "Oh my god!" And he like fell out of his shoes. Anyways,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, the fucked up stupid shit you do when you're a kid. But you think I had so funny. You could have fucking burned him, like, but anyways, whatever.
Careless.
Yeah, I don't think it was that close, honestly. I'm pretty sure
I
that
probably
it was
would
like.
have like reactively punched him if that happened to me because
I think they were far away enough that like they were.
Okay.
It wasn't that
I
dangerous.
envisioned it
honestly,
like
but,
really close and like.
Yeah, no. I think he was just like, walking to his seat or getting ready to clean something, and they were like, a distance behind. They were like, "Watch this, hey Eric," and they went, just like a quick little like flame, and he was just like, "Oh shit," But anyways, yeah. That's what I think of when I think of fire.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
I think I'm a fire sign because I'm a Leo.
Oh, okay.
But I don't do that part of witchy as much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, more into astrology, honestly. Like,
I'm kind of so-so about it. Like, I mean, I like elemental, like, fire type magic, but, like, a lot of it is rooted in, like, the herbs that I add to it, which is very earthy. But, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, honestly, like, fire, I love fire to a degree, but at the same time, it's not, like, one of my main ones that resonates with me when it comes to the elements. Like, I love water, like Sam was saying. Like, there's something about water that, to me, like, it becomes more and more fascinating as I get older, the more I learn about it. Like,
I love baths and even just a shower, like the washing away of things and like the
cleansing of yourself.
Yeah, the visualization of like the water, like representing that it's like flowing, like taking away the negative. And
the other thing that I find fascinating about water is the fact that I'm pretty sure I heard that the amount of water that is on Earth is always going to be the same amount. Like it evaporates into the clouds.
We get a little bit with
ocean.
meteors.
That's true.
A tiny bit comes from that we absorb, but yes, in general, like it just
redistributes itself.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's always been here. That's the thing that I also find fascinating is that like all parts of water are all connected at some point, way, shape, or form in time at some point because they're either all a part of the same ocean or they're all a part of the same cloud or all a part of the same body or all the, like all water has some sort of history to it. And I always find that so interesting when you think about it. Like, I don't know why that fascinates me, but it does.
It's all controlled by the moon and the sun.
And that too, yes. Like, and I also find, I love sun and moon stuff, yes. That's another thing that
I do believe in, like, the sun and moon energy, but, like, I guess the astrology doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't resonate the same with me. Maybe it's because it's more of, like, man's interpretation of it than I don't know.
I'm off and on about astrology.
I could see that. Like, oh, that's their version of my zodiac.
Yeah, especially like,
who are you to say what I'm?
I read about it.
What is it called? Horoscopes. I'm very skeptical of horoscopes.
Or that's what I think I meant when I said zodiac. Yeah, it was horoscope. But yes, no, I agree with that. Like to me, what I find fascinating about astrology is this: if you think about like constellations, and you think about like time, and you think about like I don't know what the wording is, but to me, I feel like if you as a person can find certain connections that you can interpret yourself, that's, I think, what's the truest part of astrology. I don't think that you can listen to, like you say, a horoscope and trust that, oh, that's how I'm going to feel today? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, I don't
Well, you have to still go and manifest that.
But you can also read any horoscope and resonate with any of them. Like, you could just read... That's one thing that I always used to do.
It's kind of like
I would
tarot.
read somebody else's, and I would act like that was mine. I'd say, oh, yeah, that does seem really true to me. And then I'd go read my own and say, oh, yeah, that does seem really true to me, too. You know, just to test to see if all of them seem true to me or not. And sometimes they all would. I could find truth in every one of them.
Yeah, but you're saying it was kind of like tarot in a way.
Yeah, kind of like tarot in a way. Because I feel like there are a lot of people who have this impression of tarot that it's supposed to be like... They use the word divination, and like some people, I guess there are readers that try to use it this way for like prophecy. But for me, it's never really been like that. Like I use it as like a sort of guide, but not necessarily as something that's like going to be predictory. So like if I draw like the tower or something, or
we'll leave it less
harsh
than that.
Well, the tower can be pretty harsh actually. But the tower, it just means like a big change, and it can have like a sort of negative connotation sometimes. So like if I draw that or something, I might be thinking about like, what are some things going on in my life that if I don't complete them or like whatever might bring about catastrophe, I should probably do those things. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not really predictive, but it's like little reminders about things in your life, and sometimes like every once in a blue moon, you'll just get something that totally doesn't resonate with you. For the most part, for me, though, you can find some sort of resonance in it. And sometimes it's little things in your life, sometimes it's bigger things in your life. But you create your sort of own interpretation, for me, for the most part.
To piggyback off of that, I totally 100% agree that I think that's why the self-interpretation is so key in a lot of these things, because no one knows you like you know you. No one knows your life, your background, how you feel or view things, your perspective. Your perspective is 100% vital in these types of things, because what one person might see as a change coming up in their life is definitely going to be different than a change coming up in somebody else's life. And like you're saying, it provides you the insight to say, okay, well, what does this stir up within me?
Right.
Because then it helps you kind of like magnetize. It
helps you like self-reflect, kind of.
Yeah, it kind of brings up, okay, so what are these things that I need to check out? Like, a big change. What kind of big changes would I feel indifferent about coming up? Okay, so maybe I can make preparations, like you're saying, to like. So I can
and I
totally
think some people
that.
would probably draw that card and find it predictive of like someone's gonna, some big change, negative change. Maybe someone's gonna die. You're gonna change your career. That's devastating. Or something. I don't know.
And
but
some
might catastrophize it, like whatever. But I use it more as a self-reflection tool, and I use it for my shadow work sometimes. And like
that's a healthy way to use it, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. Although I do want to say, I feel like I've talked about shadow work a lot for this, and it is an important tool of my trade. But, like, I want to make sure that people, like, understand, like, when I talk about shadow work, I don't mean that ever to be a replacement for, like, seeking help, like, if you, like, when you need it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I would never want anyone to think that this is a replacement for that. But it is a useful tool. Like, it helps you, like, sort of see your own life in like different ways, and like to reflect on why you react in certain situations the way you do, and like it
can give you juicy stuff to bring to your therapy sessions to talk about.
Probably,
you delve deep on your own time.
I mean, it's really rooted in a psychological thing. Like it's been sort of like co-opted by the spiritualist movement, but a lot of it has roots in like literal like psychology of yesteryear, kind of. So
well, and another thing that I actually just saw today, it was a lady that was talking about how if you have like a Persian rug that has a huge, like an awesome design on it, and you're an ant on that rug, you can't see all of the stuff that's around you. So therapy is what she said was to help kind of give you a bird's eye view of your own like Persian rug, so to speak, as your life. Like
it's kind of the concept like you can't see the forest through the trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I think people say therapy provides for people, is just that outsider perspective. So that, because like if you are the only one that's interpreting your own problem, it's hard for you to know whether or not that's a true concept to believe in or not.
Right.
If you have an outsider's perspective, not even a therapist, even if somebody that you know loves you and cares about you, you can get a third person's perspective from. Like even you guys, for me, have been very helpful, because sometimes you guys know me. I get into my moments. Sometimes I gotta cry it out. Sometimes I gotta yell about something or whatever. I gotta get all my feelings out. But you guys hold that space for me, and you guys allow me to do that. So sometimes some people don't have the ability to break down and go to a therapist. But if they have people that know them and love them, they can break down to them and still get some valid results for themselves. Yeah. So thank you guys for doing that for me.
Of course.
I feel like it's helping.
Yeah.
I have my
do love that
still.
about this group too.
I have my moments, so sorry about those. But,
That is what it is,
So I had a thought on, like, kind of, I don't know, the mental state of people in general when it comes to things like runes and, like, things that refer to deviations, and I guess, what did you refer to it as? Like,
kind of when you
predicting things.
Oh, about it being predictive?
Yes. Yeah, but you used a word. She used a good word for it.
Prophecy?
Yeah, prophecy work and stuff like that. Where I don't really, like, question... I don't really catastrophize my results, like whatever reading I get, I usually try and see the positive outlook on, like, my life in general. Most of the time, when I'm, like, in my not living in my trauma state of mind, like my healthy me doesn't try to catastrophize everything. I try and see the better side of things. So when I get a reading, I'm more worried about like the influence of the person doing it for me. Like if they're a manipulative, negative person, maybe they're like trying to influence my life in
what kind of
a way that they're, maybe they're influencing something. So I don't know. I've always tried to stay away from. I've never had like an official reading other than like getting one from a friend.
Yeah.
And that's, someone that I would trust not to try and manipulate my life in a negative way, I guess.
Yeah.
But I've never gone to a professional reader that I, didn't know. Not that they're not, like, trained in.
genuine,
It's just
but-
my personal belief. I would have to have a personal relationship with them, I guess, in order to have that trust in them that they weren't influencing my life. They were just guiding what's already going to manifest in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
I can 100% believe that because, like you're saying, like if a person is out to get just your money or just out to try to make you feel a certain way at the end of it, like you don't know if what they're telling you is going to really be the truth. Like,
Yeah.
So if you know either A, it's a trusted friend, or B, that it's a self-reflective.
I think that's a fair, like, skepticism of it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're, like, consulting with someone else on it, for sure. 100%.
And I'm sure that the people that are on the other end, some of them already know that, so some of them are going to know, you know.
I think that's by and large why I just mostly do my own.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
But I agree that people should be weary about going into those situations and just take that with a grain of salt that, you know, not everything that happens in those readings is just because of your energy that you're bringing. It's also the other end. Their energy that they're
inviting
bringing.
other people's energy into your space is always a vulnerable thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of related to that, I'd love to learn eventually runes. I actually got you guys runes, and there's this set that I've been eyeballing on Etsy
And I haven't
that
used
I
them
want.
at all. I'm so sorry. I was so wanting them so badly, and then I haven't even freaking used them.
Yeah.
But
I actually
put them
pulled
on my
one right
altar.
before the meeting, so I'm
It seems
going
to
to see what it means here.
I want to make
Yeah.
like a set of my own first, like just like a cheap like paper set or something like that. Just
To
to
make
like
some
learn
out of
them
the
first.
wood back here. That's what I wanted to do. Was
Yeah,
take
that'd
some
be
of
so
those
cool. We
sticks from
should.
the tree that fell.
The
That'd
one
be
that
really
I pulled right before our thing to put on my crystal grid means happiness.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. See, so
Aww, that makes me happy.
see,
So
that would
how
be
can
a
make
great.
this be happiness?
Yeah, I would think that would be like a great like shadow work tool too. Like if you're on a day where you're not sure what you want to reflect on, just like pull a rune and be like, okay,
Happiness.
we're gonna write about happiness today.
What in my life
What
brings
makes
me
me
happiness?
happy? Like, yeah, who makes me happy?
'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness. 'Cause I'm happy. Okay, that was
Okay. Nugget loves that song.
Dylan always liked that one. That's a good like
So get up and
clap
dance
along
on
too.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some other, because like I just said I would love to learn runes a little bit moving forward. Is there anything that you guys are sort of interested in?
I actually do want to learn more flow arts. Like I already am dabbling in hooping. I haven't it's been really hard picking it back up since I had Levi. I still haven't really gotten back into it. I pick it up here and there, but I also want to learn more like other stuff. Like maybe eventually learn fire spinning and do that with my hooping.
Dude, you should
or-
get me into that.
I want to learn silk fans too. Silk fans are
yeah.
one that also is curious about.
Those were always fun as a kid. Wait, silk fans. Is that not the same as ribbon dancing, or is that similar?
It's kind of like ribbon dancing, but they're fans.
Oh, like Katana on Mortal Kombat. Her two fans that she had?
Only with big silky ribbon, like tails.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. I'll have to look into that. That sounds like it'd be kind of cool. But, like,
Yeah.
I like to watch fire dancers, but I could never probably do it myself. I'd be way too
I'd be
afraid.
too scared, yeah.
Because I would definitely be a klutz about it. And
I would
just
have
set myself on
to.
I couldn't control that situation appropriately.
I was gonna say I would have to do a lot of like non-fire to get to the fire.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
fire.
Oh, of course.
I remember when we went to Hawaii and we saw some of the fire dancers at the whatchamacallit, at the, yeah, I can think. What do they call those? At the luau.
Oh, the luau, yeah.
I remember at the luau, oh my god, they were so good. Oh, I see what you're talking about now with the fan dancing. Okay. See, I was picturing literal, like, the rounded out fans, like that you...
Well, these are. They just have silk on them.
Well, that's what oh, never mind. Now I see them. The shape of them now.
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
they're fans. They have
Gotcha.
silk.
But now, I don't even remember what I was saying. No, you're good.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I rather than movement though, for me, I think it'd be more like sound and music. Like, I would love to figure out how to use like more charmy sort of things, like which are usually meant to be like musically charms, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just
I'm
to like
the
incorporate
same,
it in
like,
somehow.
I want to learn how to use either like bells or like sound bowls. Like I want to use sound vibration of some sort to help me balance. I don't know, it sounds kind of maybe weird, but like I've heard so much about, actually Nikola Tesla, I'm pretty sure, was the one that said if you want to learn most about the universe, and this is, I'm going to totally make
quasi make up a quote.
Yeah, I probably. What do they call that?
You're gonna quote a quote.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill this quote, but he says something along the lines of like, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of frequency and vibration. And when I think of in terms of frequency and vibration, I think of light, I think of sound, I think of just stuff like that. And so, anyways, I've heard things that talk about the chakras and how like if you're balanced within all of those sorts of what they represent, then you're more or less in harmony with your body. And I, for some reason, want to try like finding the frequencies that they say are in resonance with those chakras, and then finding either the sound bowls or the charms or the bells or whatever they are that resonate with every single one of them, and trying to just see.
That's kind of what I was doing. I started with the like root chakra, and that's what my bowl that I have now is for. And I bought just the root. I just bought the root chakra one, and then I was like, I'm going to focus on this, and once I feel like I'm ready to move on, then I'll buy the next one. And I still just have the first one, but.
Well, because I guess for some reason, see, I'm an all-out person. I'm weird. I'm like, I want to buy all of the bowls, and I want to do this one on Sunday, this one on Monday, this one on Tuesday. Like,
you need to work on one chakra at a time. Just only one.
Well, I do want to do that. I want to work on just one at a time, but I want to get the resonation going every day for all of them. Like, if that makes sense.
Do a little touch up on them, and
for some reason,
see
I don't
where
know
they
why.
are. Like, check in with them, I guess.
And see, I don't even know what that feels like yet. So yes, kind of, but I don't know yet because I've never done that.
So the place that I go crystal shopping in Iowa, what's the name of it? Center of I Am. That's what it's called. But they used to do like interpretive dance, I guess, of chakra. They would put on like a sound that would like represent like each chakra, and everyone would be blindfolded, and you would have your own space to like feel what that like dance, what it felt chakra like feels like to you, I guess. What your body
wanted to express when hearing that
so it was like chakra expression. And I think they also did like drawing and painting nights. Maybe not there, but I know they were telling me about it. That was another thing that they did for like chakra expression, is like they focus on one chakra and like do a painting or something that they're feeling that's representing what they're checking in with themselves on that chakra.
I'd be super interested to check out some of those workshops, because I'd probably be one of those geeky people that geeks out on it. Like, oh my god, I love it.
So how do you guys feel about that sacred geometry?
Oh man, honestly, I want to get into sacred geometry. Like, so
I think it's interesting. It's definitely something I'd like to learn more about, but I've read about in the past a little bit here and there.
Yeah, so like I have my grids, my crystal grids that I make, but even then, like, I go back and forth. I like my sacred geometry when I want to use it, but I also like doing crystal grids that are organic, and like I just put them where I feel like they should be placed, and not necessarily on a grid, but just whatever I'm feeling. And then sometimes I'll circle them, and like I'll lay out my grid on like a white paper, and I'll circle where I put them and connect lines where I feel they need to be connected, and see if it makes any type of geometry. But I more or less just do it like and see what I create myself. And
see, I've never really even done it. Like that's something that I've been wanting to get more into, because I've been into crystals, but I've never been into crystal grids. I was fascinated when I saw your crystal grids. I was like, ooh, I want to do that. Like, because it just looks so pretty, and I don't know, there is something about them being in like a pattern like that just is, I don't know, what's the word? Just, it's cool to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, I think what I think is cool about it is that I'm a very much even person. All my life, I've always been about being even for some reason, and I don't know why, but like...
Symmetrical.
You like
symmetry.
Symmetry, yes. And obviously a lot of us are drawn to symmetry just because it's like what's appealing to our eye, and it's what's beautiful
to what us. They tell us is beauty.
Yes, that's right. That's what they say is beautiful. But I think it's just what's natural, because like for me, it goes back to the seed of life, and every single living creature on Earth has the seed of life as their original cell as they're created. If that, you guys oh my gosh, how can I word this so I don't sound like a weirdo? I was watching this thing the other day that was talking about how, like, every single creature on Earth, no matter what it is, has all started from the pattern of the seed of life because of the way that our cells regenerate. Like, we all started as one cell that, you know, doubled and then doubled and doubled, and then
You
we
were
all...
literally not the same person as you were, like...
But that
when you were
same
young,
cell
kind
is
of idea.
still in you, at your base of your spine, that same original cell that you started as, that... It's... Yeah.
Is that true?
That's what I read. That's what I heard. That's what they
Interesting.
said. I'll find the thing that said that. But, like,
I'd read
I found that super interesting. And they said that there's nothing on Earth that, you know, goes away from this rule. So, for me, the seed of life just seems so sacred because it's every single thing on Earth has that in them that has life, including seeds and plants and bugs and people and everything. But anyways.
Like, all the things!
All the things. So anyways, this is the seed of life I really find fascinating. And then there was also Metatron's cube that I was, like, finding out more about. And I don't know much about it, but it just seemed like it would be another one that I would want to have as, like, one of my grids that I would be using for something, too. So, yeah, anyways. Sacred geometry. It's definitely worth looking into more in the future because, yeah, I want to learn more about that shit. Fascinating stuff.
Well, isn't that what you have on your thing, Sam?
Yeah.
Metatron's cube?
Yes.
Yeah. So are there any other things that you guys are wanting to get into or just haven't yet?
I do want to get more into, like, foraging. So, like I said, I do go foraging for mushrooms, but only, like, morels. That's the only one that I know is in my area that's safe to eat. The other ones, I know there's other ones that are safe to eat and legal to forage, but I don't know what they are. So I would want to take someone experienced with me to learn those things from, you know?
Right.
It's, I don't know.
That makes sense.
And, like, for berries, too, and, like, just random stuff that you can... Seeds and nuts and...
It would be good information to have, or good knowledge to have, like, if you ever do go camping outside, to know kind of the basics of, okay, what berries are edible, which ones are not, which mushrooms are edible, which ones are not. Like, because if ever you did need to know that stuff, better to know it and not need it than need it and not know it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I really want to do a whole, like, month on just foraging and teaching me and Dylan and going into the forest, eating all of the things.
It would be kind of interesting, though, to see, like, what is available out in a forest for us that we can consume. Like, I'm sure we would go into the forest and think
I follow a lot
edible.
of, like, forage TikTokers.
Yeah, me too.
Like, who eat their plants and, like, go out and show you, like, trees that are just in public that you take shit from to make other stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll bake with it, and, like, whatever. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Like, bark is really useful on certain things. And
I had some chick, she did, like, pickled magnolia or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, I saw that one, I think. The orchid, I think.
Or maybe it was orchid.
Yeah.
It was orchid, I think. But yeah.
I'm sure Steve would love to do some of that stuff, too, being the fact that he wanted to go on Survivor, because it seems like some of the stuff that's on Survivor is some of the stuff that'd be interesting to know, like, you know...
He gets poison ivy pretty easily, though, and around here, that's something that he would definitely get if he went foraging.
Yeah.
How can you get poison ivy easily? Like, what do you mean? Don't you have to get exposed to the plant and then you get it? Like,
well, yeah, but he gets it. He's more allergic to it. Like, if he's near it, he's gonna get it, like, more likely than someone else that just gets near it who doesn't get.
I gotcha. Okay. I was like, I thought that was something that you, if you're exposed to it, you just get it. Like,
he's sensitive to it.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Stuff.
Yeah.
The last thing, as far as elements that I can think of that I also am going to try to start using more of in the future is air. So, like, number one, I've been getting outside more and just getting fresh air more, and I've been loving that. But also, like, I've been reading a lot or watching a lot of stuff about breath work and how you can actually, as a person, use your breath and use air to, like, there's this guy that literally was sitting in an ice, like, I think oh God, what was it? I'll have to find, it was on this, sorry. So I was watching Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu, and he had this guest on that was talking about how he has used his breath to literally climb Mount Everest with no shirt on and shorts. he was sitting like in ice baths, boiling water or something, because he could get his internal temperature so hot that the ice wasn't affecting him. I'm trying to remember what all else he has accomplished.
I feel like
this
that
man
sounds like a scam.
I feel like this is more
dude.
mind over matter thing than just breath work. I mean, it sounds like it might be possible, but it's probably more mental than
I still look into
just
this
breath.
thing.
It probably is both, but like, yes. Let me look up who this is, because this is real. Like, this dude is for real. Like, the guy he was like, dude, I just had to meet you for real to know if you were actually a person. Like, because you seemed like not a fairy tale, but like, you just seemed like make-believe.
I know a girl who thought she was on I didn't know a girl. I saw a girl on the interwebs that thought she was on an air diet, and she only ate air calories and had air meals because of her breath work. She would
They're
go
like gurus.
She
that
would go
pretend.
and breathe in her lunch for the day, just like, sit on the table and breathe for 30 minutes, and
But
there's my lunch.
Did somebody
I'm very
actually
skeptical
like
of like outlandish claims like this.
Okay, his name is Wim Hof. To survive, Wim Hof, the Iceman, for the past 20 years, he's been breaking countless endurance records, from spending nearly 2 hours submerged in ice water to climbing past the death zone of Mount Everest barefoot, wearing nothing but shorts. He surpassed what anyone thought the human body was capable of over and over. So yeah, just throwing that out there, that I'm pretty sure breath work was a lot of his, that was what he was talking about when I watched the interview with Tom Bilyeu and him.
Yeah.
And so, not to say that I'm going to go trying to, like, climb out
Well,
Everest in shorts and, like, live off my breath. But,
Right.
like, I do want to start incorporating air more in my day.
Yeah.
I
You
have
see the
also-
power in it. And
Right. Well, and I've also seen that people talk about how, and I've noticed it within myself already, that, like, I don't have very good posture. So all day long, I am not breathing to my fullest potential. So my brain isn't getting all of the oxygen that I need. So I am not doing, like, it's just a weird thing that you don't think
Combination of
about
things. Yeah.
until you think about it, and then you start noticing it, and you're like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
my brain's probably not getting all the oxygen it needs either. But that's just because one of my tools that I like to use is my medications.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie that I probably have the same problem, but but for the air that I do breathe, it's not that. I kind of want to try to figure out, you know,
How to get more fresh air into your body.
yeah, offset some of that maybe. You know?
Yeah, I feel like there's always so much to learn, like I
That's
want to
a
know all the
fascinating
things, but I don't have time to learn like really all the things at the moment.
That's why you gotta take them a couple at a time.
Yeah, learning is like a process, an ongoing one at that, for sure.
Well, I think the thing that I love about the learning thing is that I'll start to learn about one thing, and then that'll lead me into something else, and then I gotta dive in deep and learn all about that now, and then it leads to this, and like this whole thing. Like, I love crystals, and I mean, water's in my life, obviously, but I didn't think I was gonna get like so fascinated with my crystals, and so fascinated with water, and so fascinated with all these different things, So it's kind of cool as you go, the things you learn.
One thing that I really want to do involving water that I didn't mention is visit a hot spring. Like, they're more towards like the western side of the country, so I really want to go and just make it a point to visit a natural hot spring, like a mineral spring in.
Yeah.
I want to go too, and it was so funny. I watched this thing the other day. It was talking. I'm always watching a thing, but there was this thing. It was talking. It showed a picture, and it was like a hot spring. What you think you're gonna experience. And it shows like some girl, like like this in the hot spring, and it's all like beautiful around her, and da da da. And then in real life, and it's like this crowded like place where all these people are waiting in line, and there's like a whole crowd of people around you, and you can't even get space.
It's just a mud hole.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
It was a kind of funny meme that I thought of, and I saw that. Like, yeah, I would want to go to a hot spring to have what's in Instagram, but then I would experience what's in real life, and I'd be like, fuck.
So I think we should put this back to our audience. What are some things that you'd like to learn or are interested in right now that you're learning about? I'd like to hear.
Yeah, I definitely comment below on whatever you're listening on, or if you're not listening on something, you can comment. Go to our socials. And
we would love to hear if there's anything that you guys can recommend to us that's been helpful in your practices. And
100%. So, ladies, I think we're going to do a shout out, but we're going to take it back to like way back Wednesday. That works, right?
There we go.
It's Friday, though.
No,
Well,
when we
it's
air,
gonna be
I get it.
Hard
We're
nut
with it.
switches.
it's all good.
So we decided we're going to shout out ourselves.
Whoop, whoop. Because we're awesome.
We deserve a shout out.
So our newsletter just came out. It is live on our website. You can sign up to receive it ahead of time, but it comes with like a free digital download if you sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah, we would spend a little bit of time, a lot of time.
Sometimes you get early access to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we put time into doing the newsletter, and everyone should definitely read it.
Check it out.
It pretty much, so our newsletter themes for this
Season.
yes,
Yeah.
are going to be the Wheel of the Year. So our very first one was about Ostara. A little history,
Yeah,
a little
and we're
activity,
just-
and a little shadow work.
Just released Beltane, so we're kind of, and we're of course Northern Hemisphere, so shout out also though to our Samhain celebrating Southern Hemisphere's folks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, sign up. We usually add an activity or like add some history or
Like she said,
a
there's
shadow
download.
work prompt, you know, just fun little things. It's free. You can sign up for it. We'd love to send it to you. And also, if you haven't been keeping up, we're at episode, we're 7-ish in, I think, on Weekend Reads, or will be a couple days after this one. I'm losing track of the numbers. But that's been going pretty well. I have some solid 15, 20 listeners, which I think is awesome.
Ooh, that's
I was like, maybe I'll
awesome.
have like 2 or 3, because it's a book. But yeah, I've had definitely some people that have been sticking around. So if you'd like to join them, there's tons of chapters that you can binge listen to up already for Weekend Reads. And that's
More to come.
more to come. Yeah, we're making our way through Henry Cornelius Agrippa's Occult Philosophy and Magic Book 1. I think we're through like chapter
What was it called again?
30-ish or 40.
What was it called again?
Occult Philosophy or Magic. It's 3 books of occult philosophy and magic by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, excuse me.
Okay.
He wrote this around 1531.
1531.
Yeah, it's a very old text.
Wow.
I mean, it's a translation of his text, but yeah.
Nice. I am going to start listening to that, at least just the couple episodes, and
That would
see
be really
Give it a try.
what it's
interesting.
about. Yeah.
Well, I love old stuff. To me,
Yeah.
I feel like the older the knowledge is, the more like, or I should say, the less manipulated it has been. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense.
more scientific is evolving.
True, I guess.
Evolution of science has gone a long way too, I think. So
Right,
And
yeah,
it's
and that's that. Yeah, you're not lying there. So
I think
guess
that's
there's
just
there's a
basically
hand-in-hand.
New Age magic. I think in a lot of ways is science. So
I guess what I like to read is like when something that's so old still holds truth today.
yeah,
That's what I find interesting about old reads, I guess. Like
yeah.
that.
There are definitely some things about Agrippa's work that still hold true to a lot of the things that I read now or believe in terms of like associations and things like that. But some of the stuff in there is a little bit like, this is definitely written in 1531. But yeah, it's been a good time getting our way through it, and hopefully people have been enjoying it. Like I say, I know I have a fairly loyal audience of about 20 people, which is pretty
That's awesome.
That
Yeah.
is so sweet.
Yeah. So anyways,
Thank you for those that listen, by the way.
yeah. So thanks for listening. So check out Weekend Reads and
Check out our
newsletter, which is on our website, MidwestCovencast.com. We appreciate all of you listening to us, and maybe we should like open up something on a couple of our pages that ask about topics you guys would like to hear about or something. Because we like to get our audience involved. Or we should do a question and answer again this
We
season.
definitely need to know what you guys want to hear
Yeah.
from us. We haven't heard from you guys in a while. So
Yeah, we've been busy. We've been off of social media a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
I've
we need
been
to get back on it.
detoxing from y'all. No offense to anyone, but
Detoxing from, like,
Guys,
everyone.
just from the computer
Yeah.
and the phone and the actual thing of itself.
I went on my vacation and it was really nice. And then I'm like, yeah, I should do more things not on social social media and
connect to the real world a little bit.
ground myself in what's actually happening. And
100%.
So I want to mention in closing that Marilyn did light our ritual candle at the beginning of this.
I did. I remember.
And yes, we will blow it out at the closing here. And I mean, I would say we're what? A quarter?
Only like half-ish way done.
Yeah, it's like
If
probably
even.
a third. Probably a third of the way done.
It could be, yeah.
So we still got many episodes to go.
Hey, what did I say? 20-something though, right?
I don't remember. We'll have to go back and see. I wrote them down though, what our predictions were in the folder. So
But I mean,
we will
this,
find out.
I believe, is our 20th something episode. So
We will keep
I'm
in
still
mind.
closest.
Yeah,
'Cause
we'll keep in
true
mind.
story. We were all way off though, man. Like way off. But anyways, thanks so much for listening, Coven. We'll put out some feelers to listen to your thoughts on what we should talk about next.
Yeah.
So until next time, Coven.
Blessed be.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Midwest Coven Cast.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
And if you love us, consider leaving us a review.
You can also join our coven by following us on social media.
At Midwest Coven on Twitter and at Midwest Coven Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
You can also find us at MidwestCovenCast.com.
Until next time, Coven, blessed be.